conflict of interest they have in the items in tonight's agenda. Firstly, myself, I can confirm that I have no conflicts. Deputy Mayor Moreland?
No conflicts, Mr. Chair.
Councillor McGregor?
No conflicts, Chair.
Councillor McQuaid? Councillor Neal?
No conflicts I'm aware of.
Councillor Smith?
Nothing to declare, Chair.
Thank you all. Confirmation of the minutes. I now call on the mover for the recommendation for the confirmation of minutes. Councillor Moreland? Yes.
Raise a matter.
Councillor Neal?
For some rather odd reason, in the documents that I downloaded from PAPS, the minutes were incorrect in that the final item was a repeat of the second last cycle. And I actually thought I'd done something incorrectly, but I did. Released it and read
Yes.
and had the same thing. So I'm just wondering if anyone else had that problem.
I had noticed that
We raised that and it will be amended.
okay, so there's
I'm having to second that, but just to make sure that we note that the correct version of the minute, which has maybe if we can read the final. Can you maybe read the final? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure I've got the right one. Just in case.
the staff are saying yes.
Yep.
Okay, staff are saying yes. It's
We want to make sure what the last
item.
is. Are you able to read that out?
Well, they're still in draft form. They're in draft form, just amend them to copy and paste over the final one.
Yeah, I think it's just me for some reason.
It's still incorrect in the tables.
Okay, we're just checking the last item in the minutes from the last meeting.
You see 2653.
Staff are just checking it again to make sure that the right information is.
Like us to read it out.
Yeah.
The minutes should read, Director of Community and Recreation Services gave an update on the Future Economic Insights report.
Okay, so that is what is in the
correct one.
correct.
I had.
Correct. That is correct. Okay, moved Councillor Pullen, seconded Councillor Neal. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't vote in favour. I wasn't at
Sorry,
I'm going to abstain. I don't know what happened, so I'm abstaining.
those in favour, Councillor McNamara, Councillor Moreland, Councillor McQuaid, Councillor Smith, Councillor Neal, abstention from Councillor McGregor. Thank you. Items resolved by exception. Just want to keep going with all of the three items we have at the moment, so I won't go through that one. Moving across to item 2.1, Destination Management Plan 2022 to 25, the final report. Invite Melanie Smith, Director of Community and Recreation Services, to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take the report as read. So this is the conclusion report for the previous DMP, which has been replaced by the DMP that was adopted by Council last. Anchor is here to answer any questions if needed.
Any questions from the committee or any other councillors about the final report? Councillor Eaton.
Not sure if it's this one or the other one, but there was, I think it's this one, that this is about the tourism and visitor numbers and stuff like that. There was a statistic in there that looked very good, saying the visitor numbers have gone up an awful lot since 2021. But 2021, we were still at the end of COVID. So
Still a fact, but
yeah, but I mean, it's not maybe quite as impressive as it seems. So I'd be
You take the negative view, we're going to take the positive.
I think just that it'd be more relevant to look at, say, 2022 on.
point taken. We understand the facts.
We have the comparative table that goes through from 2021 through.
I don't think it was there. I think it just had the raw.
In the report it does, yeah.
Okay.
The DMPs move over every 4 years, so we use the 2021.
Yeah, I understand why you did it.
Point well taken.
And there's nothing anyone could do about it. I mean, COVID was COVID.
In the report, it has figures across the 4 years. So it
is the last 4 years from 2021 to 2024.
Yes, to staff, good recovery. Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to move the staff recommendation.
Moved. Councillor Deputy Mayor. Seconder, Councillor McQuaid. Any other discussion? No, I'll put that. All those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Move on to item 2.2. We should be here for a while on this one. Regional Economic Strategic Action Plan. I invite Melanie Smith, Director of Community and Recreation Services, to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chair. So the purpose of tonight is to present to you the 1-year action plan that came out of the strategies, the suite of strategies that were adopted by Council last month, this month, and to update on the transition of the Regional Economy Task Force into the Regional Agency Partnership Model, and to seek the committee's endorsement of the final action plan. Slide. So the action plan aligns the Economic Development Strategy 26 to 30, Destination Management Plan 26 to 29, and Event Strategy 26 to 30, bring them together within a coordinated structure while retaining the distinct focus areas within each strategy and action plans. Together, the practical pathway for delivering a connected, place-based, outcomes-focused regional economy. And you will note that the action plan is broken into 3 chapters. We've done that deliberately so that it is easy reference guide for anybody that is comparing or there's some crossover in various areas. So it was a deliberate strategy to put them into chapter form, if you like. Just a refresh on the themes. From the engagement feedback that shaped the strategies and action plans. So place-based delivery, strong expectation for visible place-based outcomes, particularly revitalising town centres and activating key precincts of Central Coast. Jump forward, thank you. The Regional Economy Strategy Action Plan sets out how we will support local businesses, strengthen our centres and places, grow our visitor economy and create vibrant, active communities across the region. Each year, a 1-year action plan will be presented to Council via the Economic Development Committee for endorsement. This will outline a set of priority actions across all 3 strategies, including key initiatives, delivery responsibilities and partnerships, ensuring alignment with Council's delivery program, operational plan and annual budgeting process. This approach provides for the flexibility to respond to changing conditions and opportunities while maintaining steady progress towards long-term economic outcomes. Actions are directly linked to outcomes, ensuring accountability for delivery and a clear line of sight between strategy, roles, joint responsibility and open data sharing will allow Council and its partners to achieve outcomes that are greater than what any one organisation could deliver alone to create a stronger, more resilient Central Coast economy. Progress will be tracked through the Regional Economy Scorecard, providing a clear and transparent view of delivery and performance over time. Updates will be reported to the Economic Development Committee annually. So the scorecard is yet to be developed, but it is one of the actions that we will do in the first year is to develop. The idea is to have a scorecard so that the community on our website can log on and have a look at how we're tracking against commitments that we've made annually and over the plans. The action plan is structured across 3 chapters, as I mentioned earlier, aligned to the Economic Development Strategy, Destination Management Plan and Event Strategy. Each chapter sets out a coordinated set of actions aligned to the relevant strategic themes or priorities, providing a clear focus for delivery over the next 12 months. Together, the chapters present a consolidated program of works that supports a connected and place-based approach to regional economic development. Chapter 1 is the Economic Development Strategy and it has 87 actions. Of those, 45 are council-led actions and 42 are partner-led actions. The actions focus on support businesses, fostering local business retention, enhancing the region's town centres through place-based initiatives, coordinated approach with regional partners. Chapter 2, which is the Destination Management Plan. I thought there was a separate slide. So chapter 2, the DMP initiatives strengthen destination competitiveness, enhance the tourism offering, support industry capability and improve the conditions for a high quality and sustainable visitor economy. Destination marketing and management, tourism product and infrastructure and industry development. Collectively, these actions aim to grow visitation, increase visitor expenditure, support regional dispersal and deliver broader economic and community benefits. So in chapter 2, there's 24 actions. Chapter 3, the Events Activation Plan. That has 10 actions. The focus for year 1 is streamlining the events process, reviewing and developing key guidelines and templates. So the idea is that we're able to, when people apply to host a major event, we're able to hand them a pack that will contain all of the templates and will have a step-by-step how-to guide and a checklist that they can check off before they submit their application. One of the other actions is strengthening internal coordination and identifying key council-owned sites for blanket DA approval. So again, we've made a commitment in year 1 that we will identify as many of those council-owned or managed large-scale sort of areas or facilities where we can get blanket DAs for multiple years, which takes the onus off the applicant from having to apply for a DA. This work is critical to improving the experience for external event providers, reducing administrative complexity, at the same time seeking to attract events to the region. So we want to be able to position ourselves in year 1 to be an attractor or a destination of choice for large-scale events. So this one, the Regional Partnership Framework. The Regional Economies Task Force was established in 2020, and it was established as a result of the COVID pandemic. The idea of it back then was that it was to assist businesses and help them have tools and strategies in how to manoeuvre their way through a set of circumstances that nobody had yet sort of worked through. On that, there was representation by state agencies and not-for-profit organisations who play a key role in supporting the region's economic response through the recovery through collaboration with council and businesses. In consultation with members, agreement to evolve and transition from a task force to a regional economy partnership has been agreed to continue the great work achieved over the years and to evolve to partner in the delivery of the economic development strategy through a more coordinated and unified approach. Partnership outlines roles, shared accountability and better use of collective resources, including data and solution delivery for the region. The terms of reference is being developed to define governance, roles and reporting for clarity and efficiency. The group will meet monthly to review current programs and quarterly to address economic development strategy action plan priorities. Partners will provide progress updates every 6 months and report annually to council. So the next steps are the Regional Economy Strategic Action Plan for council consideration on the 2020s in May, pending support from this committee. Following adoption, the action plan will be published on council's website. Any questions?
I'll make a comment that there's a lot of actions there. So a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of work specifically on these actions during the year. The partnership model is good because, you know, I've seen plenty of strategic documents from places in the past that are an island and aren't bringing in together all of the other variable things that are happening in the economy. The partnership agreement and who leads what actions was good to see. does that imply that they have brought into that action the fact that you've shown them as the lead on that action?
Correct. So as we were developing the strategies and the subsequent action plan, we had agreement, formalised agreement from each of those agencies who's been as the lead. They take full responsibility and accountability for delivering against those measures. They also agreed to the timeframes that were set there. So this isn't us enforcing on other agencies. This is us being able to take a more positive and proactive partnership role with lead agencies or specialised agencies in the area. What happened as a result, the last economic development strategy, there wasn't accountability measures and there wasn't timeframes. It was then put back to council as being the responsible deliverer of a whole raft of things that we had absolutely no control over. We've deliberately really refined this so that we are able to say the responsibility or the burden or the responsibility of delivery rests with this lead agency.
One more question then. The fact that they are taking the lead and they've signed off on it. You're going to be reporting every 6 months in a year
To the task force.
to the task force. For this committee, would those lead agencies be open to coming in and giving us a presentation of where they're up to, what they're going to do? Because it's, even though they're actions, there's not a lot of detail in what they're actually going to do, or if they need assistance or what they're doing. So would they be open, do you think, to coming in and regularly giving us updates? We can only ask is the answer.
The difficulty with that is there's multiple agencies and it would be very difficult to coordinate the volume of presentations that we would need to have. The detail in the action plan, so it does go into a fair bit of detail about the deliverables and what we should actually see against each of those tasks. The short answer to your question is we can always ask.
Thank you. Councillor Hill.
First of all, I'd like to move the report. Second, I'd like to congratulate staff. Again, there's that continuation, the strategies, now the action plan is that missing piece that our community has been asking for a long time. The feedback from the strategies have been excellent. Anybody who was at the forum, the gospel forum on Friday, the feedback about our council, our staff and this committee was fantastic. So thank you for the hard work. That collaboration piece is really important. I've been saying it for probably a decade. One agency can do everything. Having resources shared across multiple agencies and working on projects together, I think it's a wise move and very good way to move a lot of these projects forward. So well done.
Councillor Neil is the seconder.
Yes, I'm happy to second, but just a question. I noticed under item 3.4, it talks about attracting major conferences and business events. There's also a provision in relation to attracting events to the stadium. I couldn't find anything about attracting other sporting events other than the stadium. Have I missed it or somewhere?
I couldn't see that either.
Where is it included in that? Sorry, I can answer that question. We, as a chair to Councillor, we have had conversations with each of the teams. They do have their own strategies and plans. We didn't really want to bring all of those actions into the regional action plan. We can, however, highlight those. The two areas we did talk to, which were did agree to include in, was the Polytech Stadium, because part of their program of work aligned up to what we were trying to achieve in the events. I think we need to do a bit more work around the major events strategy, and then we can look at we would include that in the future. We've got a strategy for the tug of war complex, for example. I'll give you an example. They've got a range of types of sports that they want to attract. They've got a clear plan for that. We reference the body of work that they do, but we haven't included them in the action plan as per se because they already have a plan.
I wasn't so much thinking of it sort of that detail,
Okay.
but just in terms of 3 point, and I am a bit reticent to just sort of dabble in those strategies, obviously, but work going on. But,
Yeah.
but maybe if there's a reason you shouldn't, please tell me. We talk about major conferences and business events, whether we could include in there as a general.
What number was it?
3.4.
3.1.
I'll tell you an example, which isn't really covered by this, and this is just an example. I went and spoke to the Netball Association. In fact, I went to their March past at 7 p.m. on Saturday, which was really fun. Haven't done that since I was like that 14. And what they said to me is they have 28 courts. If they had 32 courts, only 4 more courts, they could actually be a venue for the national titles.
Like hockey.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's many other examples. So I don't think we can go through and name every single thing, but I think as a general principle, it would be good to include sporting in there because we have talked about that quite a lot about trying to.
And it is happening now. There's really done a lot of work in that space.
We certainly can include that at that level, but go any further in the detail than that was sort of opening a little bit of a.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think you'll go back and get further consultation on it, but I think just including the word.
I might move it away from that particular action, only because that's about collaborating with a lot of the hotels and places that we already have available here on the Central Coast for, particularly for what we call AIM. AIM is like Australian incentives, meetings and events, and it's primarily business events. We go there once a year and we sell the region to the buyers that or the organisers of events that would bring them to the region. They come into hotels and conference locations here on the Central Coast. So it's quite a specific market, that particular one. We could have a look at the another reference within the strategy action plans, particularly for sporting events, and having a look at it wouldn't be under that particular item 3.4 because that is more for.
No, I don't really. I'm not wedded to exactly where it is,
Yeah.
but I just would like to see it included.
Sure.
Do we need to defer it to have that wording determined? Because I don't really want to.
No, what you can do is pass this now and the staff could show you the change for the May.
Include
That's it.
of the promotion of major sporting events on the coast. Or 3.1, the staff were just saying that
3.4.
Can
it doesn't really exactly fit there because it's more.
I just clarify through the chair, was that item 3.1 or 3.4?
3.4.
3.4.
Yeah.
So to include the promotion of major sporting events on the Central Coast.
It doesn't, it shouldn't be. I don't think it has to be in that.
Hang on, let's get the wording right. It's the attraction or the promotion?
The promotion of events. Oh, sorry, attraction. Of major sporting events on the coast.
We could include that, but it won't be against item 3.4 mil. That's specifically for meetings and events.
Are you okay for the staff to include that and make sure that
Irrelevant.
in the relevant spot
Yes.
and to have that amendment to the document included for what comes to the May council meeting?
Fine.
Okay,
Maybe if we could have it circulated to the committee members.
well, do you want to put a 3 and or not, or
My suggestion would be that you add it under the recommendation of point 3.
Mhm.
So that it's clarified when it goes to the floor of council and we can circulate it out of session,
okay?
what that might look like in the action.
So if you could give us point 3 to the staff.
So that point 3 is include
Is amend,
attraction and promotion of major sporting events.
amend the document to include.
Okay,
And could that be circulated? Do we need a motion?
no, the directors, yes. Director can send it out to
I'll
us
move
before
to
the meeting.
the
I've just got one other question, sorry. We clarify just how much is in the destination management, especially about the ecotourism as one, and also the attraction again of cultural events such as Vivid and Sculptures by the Sea. Have we got enough in the document for you to look after that?
I believe we do. I believe we do. We've deliberately left it fairly broad so that because the point was raised at the previous committee meeting before the strategies went to council, that the focus needed to be equitable across all sectors of the community and population. So there needed to be equal attention on sporting events, equal attention on cultural events, equal attention on various other sectors of the events sort of per se, and that's what we've aimed to do, is to keep it fairly broad and flexible.
Thank you. Councillor Smith?
Not specifically about the content of the strategy, but at the last meeting I did ask for text-based versions of documents to be sent, and I don't think I received them. So can we get a text-based version? Yes.
The Word version.
Yep. I assume that there's a Word version that can send to a graphic artist to make it look pretty. So can we just?
We did have some issues with version of the PD. So we did have some problems last week getting the Word document, but I will make sure that they are circulated through the council.
Thank you. Councillor Smith, all good?
Yes, I don't understand the difficulty, but I'll leave it there.
Okay. Councillor Eaton?
Another thing that I thought was missing out of the strategy was work from home. So, I mean, it talks a lot about encouraging businesses to grow. At the end of the day, I mean, if people are working 3 days a week, for instance, from home and commuting 2 days a week, that's not a pretty good outcome and probably quite a high wage package usually with that. And yet there's no mention of that as sort of an industry. And I mean, I think it's probably likely, well, I don't think it's going to go down anyhow. I kind of think that's a bit of a gap.
You mean to encourage that or to do something?
Yeah.
with it?
Yeah. Acknowledge that it's like we're an area that is really well suited for work from home. I know a lot of the council staff work from home, 1 day a week.
Any other comments about that?
Yeah, look, I was involved.
Councillor Miller?
Yeah,
With that, if you come here on a Friday, you don't have any trouble.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Actually, Chair, I was involved in a three-way exercise with the university, council and RDA a decade ago. It was when working from home was first being spoken about. Beautiful strategy, beautiful document, great launch, got heaps of photos. Very difficult for government to actually drive anything like the business. That's why it took so long, and probably COVID, to really flick that switch. We had delegations with all the major banks and a lot of the major employees because we tracked where most of our people were working in Sydney and Parramatta. They sat there and nodded, said that was a good idea, but it wasn't until COVID we had interaction. So it's a difficult one. I support what Councillor Eaton's saying, and it's something that we should be promoting because they do spend that money on the coast and not Sydney.
Can I just suggest, so we've deliberately kept the strategy quite broad, so it incorporates all different modes of working, but we could add in there something that says and supports, those working from home. We'll have a look and see where the most appropriate place is.
Promotes, I think.
Sorry?
Supports and promotes.
Okay, so that's a change that staff will look at. Any other questions in the room? No other questions? Councillor Walsh, Councillor Castles, Councillor McGregor.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, staff, director, do you want to finish off? On your own. All good?
Right of reply.
Right, okay, I will put the motion moved by Councillor Deputy Mayor Moreland and Councillor Neil seconding. All those in favour? Councillor McNamara, Councillor Neil, Councillor Moreland, Councillor McQuaid. Councillor Smith's not in the room and Councillor McGregor
Against.
against. Okay, I declare the motion passed. Thank you. All right, item 2.3, supplementary that came in late, key enabling projects. I invite, as Mel Smith, but I'd say Director Boris to speak to the motion.
Thank you for inviting me. Exciting meeting.
We're here all the time.
I get everyone's read the report, and we just keep the questions to the end. If we go through the slides into it, one please. Okay, so this is the fourth document that we've done at Central Coast Council. So this will probably be the second that this particular group of councillors have seen. So I recall we had one close to when it came on board, and this gives us some opportunity to engage with New South Wales and Australian government. Next slide. So some of the things just in this particular slide, it does assist us to have a document that we can go to with governments. These are some of the things that we've already said. I'm not going to go through each one of those things, but we have received a fair bit of grant funding. Just want to demonstrate some of the things.
I know you said the question at the end, but what time period are we talking about in this funding received?
Back a long way.
It's like a fair, quite a few years. So as I said, this is the fourth document that we've done since 2018.
10 million goes back 10
So
years.
10 years.
2018. Next slide, please. Obviously, we've got some target areas, and there's we get in the north and the south. We've got 5 priority areas that we've. The document does indicate that there's partnership with Business New South Wales and RDA, so Regional Australia. So it's really important that as a region, we're all talking about the same things, and that's not one area going off and sending that different sort of message. We have taken some projects out of this document, and we've also added some into the document as well. So they're the themes that I'm going to go through. I won't go through that. So next slide, please, because I know you've gone through a fair few things. So the first one, just in relation to some of those projects, the Gosford City Centre, you got the waterfront, pretty self-explanatory, Etna Street Bridge. And I just might point out, some of this stuff is about council having funding or seeking funding. The other part is advocacy. So the Etna Street Bridge, for the development of Gosford City Centre, it's linking inpatient precinct with the health precinct and those sorts of things, and obviously traffic getting through there is quite difficult. We know a little bit about the high-speed rail that's been announced just recently. The next one about the station probably will tie into the high-speed rail, we would imagine. And there's some works that we want to try and get some funding for streetscape upgrades. In the same vicinity, we've got the Gosford Pool, Kibble Park Master Plan, and obviously there's some connection to Woy Woy with the shared pathway. And one of the restraints we have, when we have intense rain, is Central Coast Highway at Racecourse Road. So that's, I think, the order of 35,000 vehicles through there, and if that's getting flooded, that is an issue for us. Next slide, please. So going to the north, so we've got residential, unlocking some of that land, identifying the trunk infrastructure. The Warnervale Railway level crossing is somewhat problematic at the moment in relation to pedestrian movements. So working with government in relation to that to allow the development in particular areas is critical for it. Master plan for Warnervale Business Park, Business Precinct, the Warnervale Warnervale Link Road, obviously from out here, Poker Straight, through to Sparks Road. That'll be the next stage of what we need to do to make sure we've got, good movement of traffic and transport through this area rather than going around the loop that it's currently doing. And then there's some supportive precinct work in those next two, next three. So with the regional centre, Central Coast Regional Sporting and Recreation Complex, and the Warnervale Sport. Next one. Just in relation to some transport and connectivity, we have been fairly successful in some of the road related. So that's road renewal and pavement upgrade. So we're looking at $80 million over the 4 years or so. Looks like the work that we're doing with Lawson Road Railway crossing is coming to fruition, but I want to reinforce that so it does happen. Link Road, Chain Valley Bay, and some other state roads upgrades identified there as well. In that transport, I know I've mentioned the high-speed rail, but we've just reinforced that. A new one that we're putting in there that's concern is the road and Bryant Drive. As that ramps out, and we want to try and get that into just a signalised intersection, so that bottleneck going through that particular area, and then some active transport to the shared path, connections, as well as councils be aware of I suppose myself talking about the walking cycling strategy and what we've discussed at some of the workshops around those missing links, and trying to advocate for getting more funds for that as well. Please, just in relation to some other infrastructure upgrades and sustainability items, we talk about, and this has also been raised by councillors, the upgrade of roads, so the curb and gutter side of things, and that's a fairly costly exercise to undertake. So there's another $20 million that we see if we can get funding for those upgrade works, not just the renewal component. Central Coast Airport, so just in lighting, sewer and electrical. So we've got we know the food organics and garden organics, that's just gone out for expression of interest on the 28th of April to 7th of July. So that's going to hopefully generate some interest in the market, and I'm trying to see if we can get some additional funding to support that as well. And then and nourishment. And the last one there is around affordable housing. What's the advocacy in this? There's a lot of, as a council, stress, and what we're also looking at through Luke's term is, state planning controls in Victoria's housing policy. Some of that. So last slide. So this is go to this committee goes to the next council meeting. So that's when there's any changes that you'd be wanting to see. I'm not sure how it's going to go from here. Support as a committee and then go through at that council meeting. We do have, we'll be preparing one page each of the projects. If we do get approached side of government as we're going into elections, be able to provide some information as well in relation to that. Once this gets through, I anticipate media releases and have a page on our website. We'd be talking to the local members, etc. I probably just wanted to mention that at the session on Friday, the City Shaping Summit at Gosford, this was reinforced with Business New South Wales, that Scott Gould was leading, having 160 people in the room, all aligned, all wanting to, the region was really, really good to see, and this is our part of that. So I think that's it from me, and I've got, and I was going to say thank you to Sue Lettingham, and so we, Mel's team and my team, taking this to ELT, or support from ELT executive as well.
Thanks, Boris. I've got a couple of things. First of all, when I read it, it started off by saying these are priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4. We ditched the priority because they're not in that order of priority. Everything is a priority, but you've cut them up into themes that may help process. The other comment I have probably from the other side, let's say if you're a candidate or something, or even the public looking at this document, is each of the locations, if you had the state electorate / federal electorate, or all, depending on what it was, may assist, not just, well, the public don't, right? So just a thought, if...
that's maybe we could do something in the background in relation to how we do it. And that's what generally does happen when there's a bit of a frenzy, I suppose, and there's a lot coming from both sides of government. What we've done in the past is, it has been funneled through. So there's one person providing information and keeping it separate from both sides.
And that's my comment. Councillor Neil?
Sorry, can I,
Director?
to the points that, the first point that
Priorities?
the priorities, we could change that to pillars instead of priorities, so it doesn't.
I think it's more the numbers rather than the fact it says priorities.
I think priorities should go and numbers should go. It should be just name the thing that you're talking about. Understood. Got it.
Just in relation to the Gosford waterfront, it says 56 million. I assume that means 56 million from the council. Is that what you mean, or do you mean?
I think there's two components there. There's one for the cyclone. I think that's 56 million, coincidentally, as well. So, and there's also that entire precinct, which would include a bridge going across Central Coast Highway. That's for.
Yeah, what I'm trying to work out is the 56 million from council or
No,
total
state?
That would be what we'd be seeking. Most of that would be actually built by the state.
I suppose in
Through
my
HCCDC.
in my view, 56 million is really a bit light on, particularly if I think there's a bit of a unity on the issue that we think that that there should be direct access through that whole park area to the water without the intervention of Dane Drive, and that some treatment, some engineering that would allow that to happen is something that would be very well. Tunnel in my view, but I'm not an engineer, so I'm not going to say but I just think that's going to be something that costs a lot more than 56 million. I don't know if that really matters, but I think I would like to see an estimate for actually putting Dane Drive under or over. I think probably needs to be under. Can't see.
We did some analysis last time. We looked at some sort of overpass, and to the CEO created.
I remember that little presentation from the CEO, and I have to say I found that less than appealing.
To get across, really expensive exercise. It is a notional number, and it's to expect it to change. So it would need to be costed, and it would need to be sized. It's a whole heap of cases that should happen, or that money would be realised.
Oh, look, I understand that, but I just think we really need to be a bit more realistic in terms of what we're advocating for. I don't think 56 million is going to come anywhere close from what I would like, and I think many others would like to see happen down there.
Yeah, and that consult is part of it.
Okay. Councillor Smith.
Look, just a question. I probably don't want to get bogged down in the detail, but you had two, Oxford and another one. And again, I think it was around 50 or 55.
Yeah.
So again, is that the estimate of the cost of the rebuild, the upgrade, whatever? And I asked that question because the few councils in Sydney are getting some pretty bad press about getting in trouble on swimming pools, building swimming pools. Yeah.
North Sydney.
Well, not just North Sydney, there's another one now.
I'd expect some of that to be contributed from our developer contributions fund as well.
Yeah.
That would be additional.
So then how do we as councillors have line of sight on that? Like how much is coming from where? If we're sort of supporting this as the asking piece of work, how do we get?
I think some of these things are later in our long-term financial plan. I don't have the details when the started.
Yes, thank you, councillor.
Just follow on. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, because I'm not a voting member of the committee. Through you, Chair. Director, I think you said sort of somewhere towards the beginning of your presentation that some things have been taken out. What things are we talking about that have been taken out that may have been there before, but aren't there now? And what are they and why?
The main things are taken out, the ones that we've got money for.
Okay, so the ones that we've got money for have now been taken out.
The only one that haven't had money for Adcock Park.
Right.
What we've done is replace that with the drainage of Racecourse Road, because the drainage component of that particular precinct is a catalyst of water, and then have that can happen in the development. So, there's a floodplain management study that's identified as a priority area to focus on from a floodplain perspective, and it looks at options as holding back the water or building things up or other options in that range. So it wouldn't be appropriate to be seeking funds for if we have result in drainage, and that's the priority for us as a council to reflect.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yes, sorry. Water and sewer. There's a couple there that are funded by.
Okay. Thank you.
Back to the deputy mayor.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just to follow on from Councillor Smith's discussion. The word enabling infrastructure doesn't normally include swimming pools. Enabling infrastructure, unless it's changed over the last couple of years, enabling infrastructure needed to be able to create jobs or drive further investment. So if this advocacy piece is going to the state and the federal government for large grants, we may want to test a swimming pool, even though it's essential infrastructure. Criteria around enabling infrastructure, there may be a contradiction in government terms.
That's a good point, and that was certainly raised. The executive, is it just enabling? Because like we had this. I suppose it's encouraging. It's why it's coming here partially. That's that encourage that economic development, getting you around transport to be able to do business in here. And we didn't come up with any other better name. So I think point taken. So the discussion was you're doing pavements as well, on existing roads, but it's becoming safer. It's able to do transport. It's other benefits for the region. So enabling to do other things, not just.
Thank you, councillor McQuaid.
In the background of the report, it's got critical infrastructure projects that cannot be delivered by council alone. Then in priority or pillar 4, priority funding is needed to deliver critical infrastructure and environmental upgrades such as local roads, drainage, etc. Just as an example, say you're asking for 40 mil for the offshore sand nourishment. If that's not taken up by the state or federal government, what happens? They just sit there through.
Just sand nourishment.
Yeah, so it's just sand nourishment. Council's had a discussion on that and
Offshore sand nourishment.
Coastal management sand nourishment. It's offshore somewhere, wasn't it?
Already for 40 mil coastal management, offshore sand nourishment.
yeah, so, yeah, as I understand it, with data running, going through those approvals and discussions obviously with other councils on this regularly. Even about sand arrangement or maybe that's what gets put in there.
But if they're not taken up, what happens?
In reality, it's most of them.
It's no different to where we're.
Okay, councillor Reid.
Yes, thank you. Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. So this document is basically like a rebuild and slight change to the previous document. Is that right? But that previous document, the council always really didn't have a lot of input into it. It came in October 2024. I think was probably came to us soon after we were elected. And given that the federal election was quite close, there was really limited chance. And, you know, I'm not blaming anyone for that. It's just the way the timing worked. So I kind of think to have some more council input to it and just having a debate at the council meeting, I don't think it's going to be adequate. I know there's now a workshop on the 23rd, so whether it could be part of that workshop to further discuss this, because there's a few ideas I have, but sure other councillors got ideas too.
Which workshop is that?
It's just come out, we were told about it in an email.
On
23rd of May.
Yeah,
on
this afternoon, I think.
I think it's on the budget.
Budget, but a few other things that sounded. Anyhow, so I put that there if people want to think about that. Taking up Councillor Smith's point, I mean, some of these projects have got contributions next to them. Surely we want to say that part funding than we have contributions, because we all know that you've got more chance of getting a grant if you've got some money, significant money to put towards it. So I think that needs to go there. And just the final thing, I don't understand how we want to support the Point Clare cycleway for $50 million. I can't see how that's a good use. I know it's not our money, but we really want to support that for $50 million.
I thought they said it was 8 million, but
I thought it was the document says 50.
we gave for a roundabout, we can spend
Very cheap.
on a cycle.
okay.
Overly expensive, the length, is it because of the road, the proximity to the road?
Because there's a bridge.
Yeah.
Next to the rail corridor.
It's very fiddly.
But it would make a huge difference to the capacity of people to commute by bicycle.
But is there any basis for that? Have you got any figures? Because the cycling strategy says people don't really commute by bicycle.
Not at the moment because they haven't.
No, anyway, in general, it's.
Okay, so you got a couple.
They think you're done.
How long?
You got a couple of things that you probably don't agree with, and a lot of others don't agree with, but you got some stuff that we are running out of time. We do have to finish before 7, so we've got sort of a couple of minutes.
My meeting's been moved back too.
Yeah, yours at 7:30. It's 7 o'clock. So, any other questions for the director?
Just want to make it just a quick comment.
Councillor Stanton.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Subject to some really valuable comments that councillors have put forward as somewhat amendments. Just want to commend the staff and all the teams for this piece of work. I think this is quite a substantial piece of work and it's critical infrastructure as a whole. And I think that is very necessary in order to progress as a Central Coast region as we become bigger, and this is really critical. And so just thanks to everyone for your efforts on this.
Director.
A question about next steps. I know you've brought it to the Economic Development Committee. I think that might be just about timing, but will the Infrastructure Committee and Assets Committee take ownership / updates on what you're doing with this?
That's a good question. I think when it comes to this document, it doesn't get changed all that much once it's set. So if there's actually items that we are receiving funding for, which are fairly significant, it would be picked up. Anything over $10 million goes through the infrastructure and asset committee and ARIC as well. So there's two areas that.
Thanks, Director. So got moved by councillor Mooland, seconded by councillor Neal, correct?
Correct.
Seconded by councillor Neal.
This report, yes.
Yes, okay.
Is it for offshore sand nourishment or just coastal management sand nourishment?
Offshore in the report.
Yeah. Change if it's not.
Can you double check that?
I can check.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
You don't want to have a workshop on it?
Will you be right for a workshop on that Saturday?
It means it will miss the May council cycle. We're just really mindful of the fact that the state elections vary.
Not if you put up what we pass here tonight as recommended. If we have a workshop, at least we know for the discussion at the council meeting, what we get some more detail. Is that okay?
Look, I can't accept because I don't know the format of the day. It might have to mean that it goes.
Neither do we.
So it might just have to.
Take it on notice. Okay, no other discussion. Those in favour? Councillor McNamara, Councillor Neal, Councillor McQuaid, Councillor Mayor, and against? Councillor McGregor, abstention, Councillor Smith. I declare the motion passed. Time being 6:58, close the meeting at 6:58. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay.
I think so. I'll just check if we can start early, but I suspect we can't.
I think it was advertised for 7:30, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't advertised originally for 7:30.